this is what I want to break down just for everyone who's just listening. I've just typed in 4-point belt wheelchair onto Google Images. And Byron and I are both looking at images of so there'll be two sections of the belt. There's the padded section of the belt, and then there's the non-padded belt section of the belt. Now, Byron, looking at every single image on here that we are seeing, can you understand why 4-point belts are not mounted correctly?
The challenge is that they're overprescribed from what I've seen, is if you get your 2-point belt in position, that padding will be nicely over the thighs, the person will be secure. There are circumstances where the person's anatomy is such that their pelvis may be wanting to go into anterior tilt. It may become just straightforward anterior tilt, which you often get with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And to do so, you want to protect the belt from going up into the soft tissues. That is where I would recommend having the smaller belt to attach the belt onto the frame, and the big part, the padded part, will be attached to the back posts. So you can pull the top of the pelvis back, but to stop the belt from rising up to soft tissues, use the shorter ones and drop those down in front of the greater trochanters. It will restrict the movement to a certain extent, but that will get your pelvis into a much more neutral position, and getting the pelvis in good position means that your back is straightens up, your head is in a better position for me talking to people, seeing people, functionality. So getting your belt right in position has a knock-on effects to all other parts of the body.
Completely agree. The belt position is essentially meant to be used as a force to control the hips and do what you want. So completely agree that there are situations where you would mount the belt where the padded side is at the back and then the non-padded side may be at the front. You might even have one opposite on either end, depending on what you need. Essentially, what I would love to confirm with you is that the belts are meant to be used as a force, and then the non-padded part is meant to stop the belt riding up in a particular way. So if we are doing anterior tilt, then we would want it at a 45 because we're trying to push those ASISs back into that posterior tilt, but then we don't want it to move too far up, so we'd put the small straps at the front. What I see in practice, and as you would know, been doing this for 40 years, the ratio of anterior tilt versus posterior tilt would probably be like 98 to 2, right? Almost everybody is in posterior tilt, and you would get the occasional anterior tilt situations, but most of the time you're mounting a belt, you're mounting it to stop someone from sliding forward. And I feel that a lot of the images that can get used I don't know if that's what's misleading people or people just don't know, but it seems like from here, the front, if the images that we're looking at, where again, for those who are listening, the padded belt is at the back, the non-padded part is at the front. If someone was to slide forward, to me, it seems like the non-padded part would be doing nothing. Like if you got some scissors and cut them and someone was sliding forward, it wouldn't really make a difference whether they were there or not. Would you agree?
Yeah, if we look at the images you've got, there's somebody on the left, I think in a skirt, where the belt is more or less at the 45 degrees, and there somebody's used the smaller belt to stop that from rising into the soft tissues, but it isn't really doing a particularly good job of positioning the person, because you can see the person is sliding underneath it. So it's not functional and it's not practical. So that's not a good example of how to use one. But that's how often you see them.
I think if this person was it kind of looks like it's 60 degrees mounted here.
I think that looks more closer to 45, I'd say. It's over the greater trochanter.
Hard to say. So I'd say let's say if this person was sliding forward, which it looks like the person is, we would want the thick side of the belt mounted here, so closer towards 90, and then that should be enough. As you said, I agree. I think people just think 4-point belt means more, but look, unless it's doing something, you don't necessarily need it. I think if you're going closer towards 90, that's when I would use the small strap to mount it here to stop the belt from going forward. Now the small strap is having a function. So for me personally, I've always mounted if I'm doing 60 degrees, 2-point is fine. If I'm going closer towards 90, what can happen then is that we could get some tippiness, right? That someone could, as you slide forward, the belt could shift. And then in this example over here, where the belt's mounted at 90, it looks like you'd want an additional strap, a non-padded strap at the back to stop it from sliding forward. Barend, as the man who's been writing the ISOs, would you agree?
Just on that picture, an important element too is you can see there's a bit of a pre-ischial ridge underneath the pelvis. So basically what we're looking for is the pelvis is a big ball and it's trying to roll. So one way of stopping the ball from rolling is to stop it from rolling forward at the bottom, and that is a small, doesn't have to be more than a couple of 3 or 4 millimeters ridge, just to stop the bony bits of your pelvis from going forward. The next bit, of course, is that to stop it from rolling backwards, you need probably a block, as we say, something behind the back of the pelvis. People talk about a lumbar support. A lumbar support is often the wrong thing, because people push into that and that gives them more of a posterior tilt. But if you put a block where you've put the little circle there, stops the pelvis from rotating backwards, and then the belt across the thighs adds on top of that. So in fact, you probably won't find it moving forward very much if you've got those other two elements nicely in place, giving you the neutral pelvis.
Yeah. Again, for those who are listening, we're looking at the side view of the pelvis, picturing the pelvis as a ball, and we've got 3 arrows on the ball. We've got one coming up at the bottom at a 45-degree angle. We've got one coming up top where the belt's been mounted, and another one mounted, from the back to the front to stop it from there. So we were like trying to triangulate this position of the pelvis to really secure it in. And if we are mounting it like this, Barend, where would if this was you as Mr. ISO standard, where would you put the non-padded hip belt in this section? The non-padded strap, I should say.
In this one, I wouldn't be using a non-padded strap because the 2-point belt is positioning the person beautifully.
So you're saying 4-point belts, you personally wouldn't use them to stop posterior tilt. You think 2-point belt is all that you need?
Yep.
Excellent. It's good to hear it from the man who makes the standards himself.